Mert, how are you today? Wow, I am so excited about being here out in this bright, bright California sun with 5 women I really respect and am so grateful are here lending their support to this campaign. I want to thank members of the Mothers of the Movement, Gwen Carr, Wanda Johnson, and Sabrina Fulton for coming here to be with me. I want to thank my friends, Representative Karen Bass, Representative Maxine Waters. I know the mayor of Compton, Asia Brown is here. Mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti. And all the members of SEIU and the other unions who are here. You know, I think you heard from Maxine and Karen and everyone who has spoken what's at stake in this election, haven't you? It's hard to make this up. I mean, I gave a speech last week in San Diego talking about how unqualified Donald Trump is to be president, and even I found it hard to believe what he's already said and what he's already promised to do to our country. So I stand here before you today asking for your support in the California primary tomorrow. But I want you to understand, my name may be on the ballot, but I think we're all on the ballot tomorrow. We all have a lot at stake in how this election turns out. If we're going to get more good jobs with rising incomes, if we're going to raise the national minimum wage, if we're going to fight climate change with clean renewable energy jobs, if we're going to guarantee equal pay for women's work, then we all have a stake in what happens starting tomorrow and going on into November. And we're going to talk about it every single day, as my husband might say, until the cows come home. Because we've got to tell the rest of the country that Donald Trump is not qualified to be president. He is temperamentally unfit to be commander-in-chief. And it's all of us who have to stop him from getting anywhere near the White House. We're also going to fight for education, all the teachers, the educators, all the staff of our schools. We're going to support them, starting with early childhood education, to better prepare every one of our kids, no matter what zip code that child lives in. And we're going to make college affordable so you don't have to borrow a dime, not a dime, to go to a 4-year public college or university. And I'm going to help you pay down your student debt so that you can get out from under that burden. And we are going to defend the Affordable Care Act, one of President Obama's great historic accomplishments. We're going to get the costs down, premiums, co-pays, deductibles, prescription drugs. And I'll tell you what else we're going to do. We are going to tackle 2 of the problems that people talk to me about more than nearly anything else across the country: mental health and addiction. We're going to fight for comprehensive immigration reform with a path to citizenship. We are going to stand up and fight for a woman's right to make her own health care decisions. We're going to defend Planned Parenthood. We're going to defend gay marriage and work to end discrimination against the LGBT community. We're going to appoint Supreme Court justices who will get money out of politics by overturning Citizens United. We're going to pursue criminal justice reform. We're going to handle the challenges of mass incarceration. And we are going to stand up to the gun lobby for common sense gun safety reforms. You know, you just heard from 3 women who lost their sons, didn't you? 33,000 people a year die from gun violence. Think about that. 33,000 people a year die. We can do so much better. That's why we are going to expand comprehensive background checks, close the gun show loophole, close the online loophole, close the Charleston loophole, reverse the law that gave immunity from liability to gun makers and sellers. So we've got work to do. Now, just about everything I've said, Donald Trump disagrees with. Honestly. Yeah, it's hard to believe he doesn't think equal pay is a problem, and he sure doesn't want to do anything about gun violence. So if we want to have a progressive, positive agenda that will get things done for the American people, make progress together, then we need, starting tomorrow, to send a clear message that we are supporting the candidate who can take the fight to Donald Trump and defeat him in November. And we also have to remember that our president is also our commander-in-chief. And just in the last weeks, Donald Trump has attacked our allies, has praised dictators, has said let's pull out of NATO, that he doesn't care if other countries, including Saudi Arabia, get nuclear weapons. He's advocated a return to torture. It is such a repudiation of basic American values, common sense, and our security. So we're going to make it clear, just as I did in San Diego, all through this campaign, that his policies would make us less safe, would undermine our leadership in the world, and would make it more difficult for us to lead in accordance with our values, in furtherance of our interests, and in protection of our security. So, you know, people say all the time, foreign policy is not usually a big issue in a presidential election. Well, I do think Donald Trump has made it about the biggest issue you can imagine. The other point is we've got to unify our country. You know, I just think about all of the ways that Donald Trump has insulted and divided us. Abraham Lincoln said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. And it seems like every day Trump picks another group of people or an individual to bully, to express his bigotry about. His latest is the federal judge hearing the case about Trump University. This judge was born in Indiana. Last time I checked, it was part of America. He is proudly of Mexican heritage. He served as a federal prosecutor. He was appointed first to the judge by a Republican governor, Governor Schwarzenegger, here in California. Then he was appointed to the federal bench by President Obama. He has an impeccable record. So what is it he has done that has incurred the bigotry and the bullying of Donald Trump? Well, he drew the case about Trump University. That means he's presiding over the case where all the people who've been cheated and defrauded are trying to get their money back from Donald Trump. In fact, the very people who were running this scam, Trump's own associates, have said it was a fraudulent enterprise. So the judge is just hearing the evidence. Donald Trump wants us to divert our attention from evidence about his fraud to trying to feel some sense of disqualification for the judge. Well, I'm going to tell him this right now. We're not buying that. We're not falling for that. So whether it's immigrants that he's insulted, Muslims, people with disabilities, POWs, women, federal judges, the list keeps growing longer. And it is wrong of someone running for president of the United States to engage in that kind of hateful rhetoric and demagoguery. So we're going to work to unify our country, bring people together. I stopped at Hawkins Hamburgers in Watts to buy a great hamburger, which I highly recommend. And I talked with some of the people who have worked with Maxine over the years, dealing with hard problems, economic development, work against gangs, more jobs and opportunities for young people. You don't do that hard work by pointing fingers at each other. You do that work by rolling your sleeves up and sitting across the table from folks. That is what we need from our president. That is what I will offer. I will go anywhere, anytime, meet with anyone to find common ground, to solve our problems, to help our people. But I can't do any of that unless you help me. Now, have some of you already mailed in your ballots? Thank you. Do some of you still have ballots sitting at home on the kitchen counter? Well, you got two choices. You can go home tonight and you can fill out that ballot and send it in as long as it's postmarked by tomorrow, or you can show up and vote tomorrow. I'm not expressing a preference so long as you vote. And I would be honored and humbled to have your support. And I want you to know that if you will come out and vote for me tomorrow, I will work for and fight for and do everything I possibly can to bring our country together. We are stronger together to have a positive future filled with confidence and optimism. So please come out and vote tomorrow. Thank you.